When was the last time you allowed yourself to be completely still, without reaching for your phone, without turning on the TV, without filling the silence with someone else's voice? Most people avoid that question because stillness feels uncomfortable. It feels strange to be left alone with your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own unfiltered self. Yet hidden inside that discomfort is the doorway you've been searching for. A doorway to calm, to clarity, to strength that no one else can give you. The truth is, the noise around you has trained your mind to believe you must always be busy, always connected, always distracted. But deep inside, you know that what you really crave is peace. You crave the freedom to breathe again, to listen again, to be whole again. That freedom begins in solitude. Solitude is not the same as loneliness. Loneliness is when you feel abandoned, unseen, disconnected. Solitude is when you choose to step back. Not because you are unwanted, but because you are wise enough to recognize that you need space to return to yourself. Solitude is not punishment. It is power. It is the moment when you stop chasing and finally allow yourself to arrive. You don't need permission. You don't need an excuse. You only need the courage to say, for this moment, I choose to be with myself. That choice may feel small, but it is the seed of transformation. In solitude, you meet the silence that has been waiting for you, and that silence is not empty. It is full of answers you have been missing. It is full of the strength you forgot you had. It is full of the calm that can carry you through storms. The world tells you that peace is something you must earn, something that comes only after you succeed, after you prove yourself, after you make everyone else happy. But the world is wrong. Peace is not found outside. Peace is created inside. And it begins the moment you are brave enough to be still. You may feel resistance rise in you as you hear these words, a voice saying, but I don't have time, but I don't know how, but what if I can't handle being alone? That resistance is normal. It is the protective shell built by years of distraction, but shells can be broken. And when they break, light enters, the light of self-awareness, the light of inner balance, the light of realizing that you are already enough. You are not defined by how loud your life is. You are defined by how deeply you can connect to your own soul. Stay with me, because what comes next will take you deeper into this journey. If you allow it, you will walk away not only with understanding, but with the practical tools to transform solitude into strength and silence into peace. This is where your new beginning starts. The fear of being alone is one of the strongest fears we carry, and most people don't even realize how deeply it controls their lives. You may feel it as an uneasiness when silence grows too long. You may sense it in the need to check your phone every few minutes, even when nothing important is waiting. You may notice it when you rush to fill your schedule, so you never have to face the quiet. That fear whispers that if you are left alone, you are somehow less, somehow unloved, somehow incomplete. But that whisper is a lie. It is a remnant of an ancient instinct, a survival mechanism that once kept humans alive when being alone meant danger. Today, being alone no longer means death. It means freedom. It means healing. It means meeting yourself in the purest way. Think about it. Every time you avoid solitude, you avoid hearing your own truth. You drown it out with noise, with conversation, with endless scrolling and endless searching. But what are you really searching for? You are searching for peace. You are searching for clarity. You are searching for the assurance that you are enough, even without constant validation. And the paradox is that the very thing you avoid, solitude, is the place where that assurance waits. Alone is where you rediscover that you were never lacking, never broken, never unworthy. Alone is where you realize that everything you thought you needed from the outside was always within you. Facing this fear is not easy. Your mind will resist. It will scream for distraction. It will try to convince you that silence is emptiness, that stillness is wasted time. But here is the truth. Silence is where strength is born. Stillness is where clarity grows. If you sit with the discomfort long enough, you will feel a shift. The anxiety begins to soften, the racing thoughts begin to slow. A quiet calm enters, like a soft tide washing over sharp rocks. This calm is not fragile, it is powerful. It is the peace that comes when fear loses its grip on you. Every great change begins with courage, and courage does not always roar. Sometimes courage is simply sitting in a room alone, choosing not to run from yourself, choosing to breathe through the discomfort until you find the beauty hidden beneath it. That beauty is freedom. Freedom from dependence, freedom from constant noise, freedom from the illusion that you are powerless without others around you. In truth, solitude reveals your greatest power, the ability to generate peace from within no matter what surrounds you. That is why staying on this path matters. Because once you break through the fear of being alone, you unlock a strength that nothing can take away. And with that strength, you step closer to the inner peace you have been searching for all along. When fear begins to loosen its hold, you discover something most people never experience: the gift of stillness. Stillness is often misunderstood. Many believe it means nothing is happening, that it is a pause between events, an emptiness with no value. But the truth is far deeper. Stillness is not the absence of life, it is the very ground of life itself. In stillness, the mind no longer runs in circles. The heart no longer races without cause. The body softens, the breath deepens, and you begin to feel the quiet rhythm of your own existence. This rhythm has always been there, but it is drowned out by noise, by stress, by endless demands. When you finally allow stillness to rise, you realize it is not weakness. It is strength. It is alignment. It is the state where peace begins to bloom. Think of how many times problems have felt overwhelming, simply because your mind was spinning too fast. You magnified them with constant worry, constant analysis, constant chatter. Yet in stillness, those same problems shrink. They lose their power over you because your perspective changes. You begin to see that most obstacles are temporary, most fears are exaggerated, most doubts are illusions. In stillness, the storm quiets and clarity takes its place. And from clarity comes power, the power to choose wisely, the power to respond calmly, the power to live intentionally instead of reactively. Stillness is not a retreat from life. It is a return to life. It is the moment you stop chasing and start being. In that being, you feel yourself whole again, no longer pulled in 1,000 directions, no longer scattered by endless demands. Stillness gathers your energy back into one place, one presence, one awareness. And from that awareness comes strength you did not know you had. You begin to realize that peace is not something you find after the chaos is gone. Peace is something you create inside, in the very midst of the chaos. It begins in stillness when you give yourself permission to stop running. Many resist this truth because stillness requires surrender. It requires letting go of the illusion that you must always control, always fix, always push. But surrender does not mean giving up. It means allowing life to unfold without clinging to fear. It means trusting that by quieting the noise, you make space for deeper wisdom to rise. That wisdom is already within you, waiting for stillness to reveal it. Every moment you choose stillness, you choose to reconnect with your own strength. You choose to anchor yourself in calm. You choose to remember who you truly are beneath the noise. And in that choice, you begin to feel peace that cannot be shaken. Peace that carries you forward with clarity, balance, and unshakable power. When stillness begins to settle within you, something extraordinary becomes clear. You can finally hear the quiet voice that has been speaking all along. It is not loud and it does not demand attention. It whispers, it nudges, it tells you truths you may have been avoiding. This is your inner voice, the purest expression of who you are. It carries no judgment, no comparison, no need to prove anything. It simply reflects what you truly value, what you deeply desire, and what you were created to become. Most people never hear this voice clearly because it is drowned out by the noise of the world, the endless opinions, the constant pressures, the weight of expectations. But in solitude, the noise fades and the voice emerges with honesty and clarity. This inner voice is not an enemy to fear, but a guide to trust. It reveals where you are misaligned, where you are forcing yourself into roles that do not fit, where you are chasing things that do not fulfill. Listening to it requires courage, because sometimes it asks you to let go of what is comfortable. Sometimes it shows you that the life you are living is not the life your soul longs for. But while these realizations may feel heavy, they are gifts. They are the keys to freedom. By following your inner voice, you begin to walk a path that is yours and yours alone. No more chasing approval. No more living through the eyes of others. You begin to live with integrity, with authenticity, with unshakable self-trust. Trusting this voice transforms the way you experience life. Decisions that once felt overwhelming become clear, because you no longer measure them against endless external standards. You measure them against the truth within you. Relationships shift because you stop seeking validation and start connecting from a place of wholeness. Confidence grows, not because you are louder or more forceful, but because you are aligned with yourself. And alignment creates power. It creates the quiet strength that comes from knowing you are living honestly, without masks, without pretending, without betraying your own heart. This voice is always present, but it speaks most clearly when you give it space. That space is solitude. That space is silence. When you protect that space, you honor yourself. And when you honor yourself, you build the foundation of real peace. Peace is not found by pleasing everyone else. Peace is not found by achieving more or proving more. Peace is found by listening to the truth within and daring to follow it. The more you practice listening, the stronger the voice becomes, and the more natural it feels to trust it. This is how you transform solitude from emptiness into guidance, from discomfort into clarity, from silence into a conversation with your deepest self. And that conversation leads you toward the freedom, confidence, and inner peace you were meant to claim. When you begin to listen to your inner voice, solitude turns into a mirror. It reflects back everything you have carried, everything you have hidden, everything you have tried to ignore. At first, this reflection can feel uncomfortable. You may see the parts of yourself you have avoided, the mistakes, the regrets, the habits you wish you could erase. But this mirror is not here to punish you. It is here to free you. Because in facing yourself honestly, you gain the power to change. You can no longer pretend. You can no longer hide behind excuses. What you see is what is real, and reality is the only place transformation can begin. Self-reflection reveals patterns that quietly shape your life. You begin to notice the cycles you repeat, the choices that lead you back to the same frustrations, the fears that hold you back from what you want most. In solitude, there is no one else to blame, no distractions to mask the truth. And though that truth may sting, it is also the path to liberation. Because when you see clearly, you can choose differently. You can interrupt the cycles. You can break free from habits that no longer serve you. You can stop living on autopilot and start living with awareness. Awareness is power. It gives you back control. It reminds you that no matter what your past holds, your next step is still yours to decide. The mirror of solitude does not only show the shadows, it also reveals the light. You see your strengths, your resilience, your quiet victories that you rarely acknowledge. You recognize the ways you have grown, the challenges you have survived, the beauty that lives in your spirit even when you forget it is there. Solitude allows you to see yourself fully, not just as a collection of flaws, but as a whole human being. Imperfect, yes, but also capable, worthy, and complete. And when you accept both your shadows and your strengths, you find balance. You stop fighting yourself. You begin to feel a sense of inner harmony that cannot be taken away. This balance is the foundation of peace. Peace does not mean denying your pain. Peace means embracing the truth of who you are and realizing that nothing in you needs to be hidden. When you accept yourself fully, you unlock an unshakable freedom. You no longer waste energy running from your reflection. You no longer carry the heavy armor of pretending. Instead, you stand with honesty, with openness, with courage, and from that place, life begins to change. Choices become clearer. Relationships grow deeper. Confidence rises naturally. Solitude, once feared, becomes the space where you discover the wisdom to live fully. It is the mirror that shows you not only who you are, but who you can become when you stop hiding and start embracing the truth. When you accept what the mirror reveals, you begin to realize that solitude is not a weakness to escape, but a strength to embrace. The world often teaches that strength is loud, forceful, constantly proving itself. But real strength is quieter. It is the ability to stand firm when everything around you is shifting. It is the ability to remain calm when chaos presses in. Solitude builds this kind of strength because it teaches you to rely on the power within instead of the approval outside. You discover that your stability does not come from how others see you, but from how deeply you are rooted in yourself. The more time you spend in solitude, the less desperate you become for validation. Opinions no longer control you. Trends no longer sway you. You stop needing the world to tell you who you are because you have already found that answer within. This inner stability is one of the greatest forms of power a human being can hold. It cannot be taken away by rejection. It cannot be shaken by criticism. It cannot be destroyed by circumstance. It lives within you, steady and strong, waiting for you to claim it. Strength born from solitude is not about isolation or indifference. It is about resilience. It is about knowing that no matter what storms come, you can stand. You can bend but not break. You can face uncertainty without losing yourself. This is what psychologists call an internal anchor, the belief that your life is guided by your choices, your values, your inner compass, and when you live this way, fear loses its grip. You stop being pulled in every direction by the noise around you. You stop wasting energy on battles that do not matter. You conserve your strength for what truly does. With this strength comes freedom. Freedom to say no when something does not align. Freedom to walk away from what drains your spirit. Freedom to choose a path that is yours, even if no one else understands it. That freedom feels like standing tall after years of bending. It feels like breathing deeply after years of holding back. It feels like becoming unshakable, not because life is easy, but because you are strong enough to face it as you are. This strength is not given, it is cultivated. And solitude is the soil where it grows. Every time you choose solitude, you train your spirit to be steady. You train your mind to find balance. You train your heart to stay calm even when the world is loud. This training builds the kind of strength that lasts. It is not temporary. It is not fragile. It is the kind of strength that carries you through life with dignity, with courage, with peace. And once you taste this strength, you will never again see solitude as weakness. You will see it as the foundation of your true power. Strength gained through solitude becomes even more powerful when it turns into daily practice. Peace is not something you stumble upon by accident. It is something you cultivate with intention. Just as the body becomes stronger through repeated exercise, the mind and spirit become calmer and clearer through repeated moments of chosen stillness. You do not need grand rituals or long hours. What matters is consistency. Even a few minutes of silence, a short walk without distractions, or a simple pause to breathe deeply begins to reshape the way you live. These moments of solitude repeated over time carve new pathways in the mind. They remind you to return to yourself again and again until peace becomes your natural state. The practice of solitude teaches you to create sacred space in a noisy world. You begin to value quiet as much as action. You start to notice the difference between living reactively and living intentionally. Each small choice to step back, to breathe, to center yourself becomes an act of strength. Over time, these choices build a powerful habit, the habit of peace. And like all habits, the more you nurture it, the stronger it becomes. Soon, solitude is not something you must force yourself to do. It becomes something you look forward to. It becomes a refuge, a place where you gather your strength before stepping back into the world. Protecting this practice is essential. The world will always try to pull you into noise, into busyness, into distraction, but when you choose solitude, you are choosing to honor your well-being above the demands of everything else. That choice is not selfish, it is wise. Because the calmer you become within yourself, the more you have to give to others. When you carry peace inside, you show up differently. You listen more deeply. You act more clearly. You live more fully. Your presence itself becomes stronger, more steady, more inspiring to those around you. This practice of solitude is not about escaping life, but about preparing for it. It sharpens your focus. It clears your mind of clutter. It grounds you in what truly matters, and the effects ripple outward. Stress loses its grip. Fear loses its volume. Doubt loses its control. In their place grows clarity, courage, and resilience. You become less reactive, less dependent on outside circumstances for your happiness. Instead, you carry your sanctuary within you wherever you go. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes to return to this sanctuary. Even in the busiest of days, even in the heaviest of challenges, you can close your eyes, take a breath, and step back into that space of peace. That is the true gift of practice. It makes solitude not just an occasional experience, but a lifelong companion, a constant source of strength, balance, and calm. And with it, you begin to live not from chaos, but from peace, not from fear, but from power, not from noise, but from silence that sustains. When solitude becomes a practice, something remarkable begins to unfold within you. You realize that inner peace is not a distant dream or a fleeting moment, but a state you can build, a state you can return to, a state that becomes your foundation. Inner peace is not about removing every challenge or escaping every difficulty. Life will always carry uncertainty, struggle, and change. But when you cultivate peace from within, those challenges no longer define you. They no longer control your state of mind. You face them with calm instead of panic, clarity instead of confusion, strength instead of fear. This is the transformation solitude creates. It gives you back the power to live from the inside out rather than being pushed endlessly by the outside world. True inner peace comes when you no longer need the world to complete you. You stop searching for approval to feel worthy. You stop chasing endless achievements to feel fulfilled. You stop expecting others to fix the emptiness you once carried. Because you realize you were never empty, you realize you were always whole. Solitude reveals this truth with gentle certainty. Everything you were seeking outside has always been within. And once you embrace this truth, freedom enters. Freedom from needing to prove yourself. Freedom from being consumed by comparison. Freedom from the restless search for something more. You already are enough. And peace grows in that realization. This transformation changes how you live each day, the way you speak, the way you work, the way you love. All of it becomes grounded in balance instead of desperation. You show up to life not as someone who is lacking, but as someone who is full. From fullness, you give without resentment. From fullness, you pursue goals with clarity instead of fear. From fullness, you connect with others without losing yourself. Inner peace becomes the invisible strength behind everything you do. And people will feel it. They will notice the steadiness in your presence, the calm in your responses, the confidence that radiates without needing to shout, The most powerful part of this transformation is that it cannot be taken from you. Circumstances may change, people may come and go, success may rise and fall, but the peace within remains because it does not depend on anything external. It is yours. It is rooted in your connection to yourself, your acceptance of who you are, and your trust in your own voice. This is the ultimate freedom, the ultimate strength, the ultimate gift of solitude. And when you live from this place, you no longer chase peace, you embody it. You no longer hope for calm, you create it. You no longer search for meaning, you live it. This is the life waiting for you. This is the life you deserve. Peace becomes the ground you walk on when you understand solitude not as absence, but as presence. It is presence with yourself, presence with your breath, presence with the deeper rhythm of life that cannot be found in noise or constant motion. From this presence, you discover a truth that changes everything. You were never searching for the world to calm down. You were searching for yourself. You were searching for the part of you that remains steady, no matter what storm surrounds you. And now you can see it clearly. You can feel it. You can return to it whenever you choose. That is the ultimate transformation. Realizing you carry peace within you as a constant companion, not a fleeting visitor. Living from this state of inner peace does not mean life stops testing you. The world will still challenge you, push you, demand from you. But when peace is your foundation, those challenges no longer shake you to your core. You meet them with steady breath. You face them with clarity that cuts through confusion. You respond with strength that is not forced but natural. The storms may rage, but you no longer become the storm. You remain the calm center, grounded, present, unshakable. And from that calm, you are able to act with greater wisdom, to make choices that align with your truth, to live in harmony with what matters most. The gift of this transformation is not just for you. It extends to everyone around you. When you carry peace, you become a source of peace. Your energy calms the rooms you walk into. Your presence offers safety to others. Your steadiness inspires without words. People sense the difference because inner peace cannot be faked. It radiates naturally, quietly, powerfully, and in a world full of noise and fear, that presence is rare. That presence is a gift. You become a reminder to others of what is possible when we stop running and choose to return to ourselves. This is the life solitude makes possible. A life not driven by chaos, but guided by clarity, not consumed by fear, but anchored in trust, not distracted by noise, but centered in truth. It is the life where you wake up each day knowing that nothing outside of you has the power to steal your peace. You carry it, you create it, you embody it, and because of that, you live with freedom, you live with purpose, you live with strength that does not depend on circumstances but rises from within you, unshakable and whole. This is not a dream. This is who you can become. Solitude has always held the key, and now you are ready to step fully into the peace that has been waiting for you all along.